In this video, we're talking about criminal speeding in Arizona. It's a Class 3 misdemeanor, and more specifically, how that could potentially impact your immigration status, whether you're here on a visa, you're applying for permanent residency, or you've got a green card, or you're applying for citizenship, and those types of issues. So I will preface this video by saying I am not an immigration attorney. The R&R Law Group, we don't practice immigration law here. We do practice criminal defense law, and a lot of what we cover is criminal traffic. So criminal speeding, reckless driving, racing, exhibition of speed, leaving the scene of an accident, all of those are criminal traffic offenses, DUIs included. But specifically criminal speeding. This is one of the most common offenses that we see in Arizona. In particular, we see people from around the world and around the country who are here on visas or here sort of on tourist visas or H-1B or F-1 visas, student visas, and all sorts of visas from all over the country and the world. They want to come to Arizona to visit the Grand Canyon, to see Horseshoe Bend and Antelope Canyon and all these different places here. And when that happens, when they're in town, they don't realize that Arizona has extremely strict criminal speeding laws, and they get charged with criminal speeding. Sometimes there are cultural issues. Back in Europe and certain places, you can travel as fast as you want, whereas in Arizona, you just can't do that. So the big question that a lot of people have is this going to impact my visa, impact my immigration, impact those issues. So as I said earlier, I'm not an immigration attorney, so I can't speak to that specifically, and it's a complicated field of law because a lot of this policy is set in Washington. It depends on what's happening almost on a day-to-day basis with how they're interpreting these things. But we can tell you a couple of things definitively. A lot of states, in fact, most states don't even have criminal speeding laws. Arizona is a little bit unique in that anything that's over 85, is criminal. It doesn't matter what the posted speed limit is. So even if it's an 86 mile, the allegation is 86 in a 75 mile an hour zone, that's criminal. Okay, that is not criminal in most other states. So what I tell people is to give them a little bit of peace of mind is that even if you're convicted on this fact scenario, this series of facts, traveling 86 in a 75, would not be a crime in most other jurisdictions, meaning most other states. Therefore, in my opinion, no matter what happens in Washington with the immigration policy, or if you're applying for permanent residency, if you're going to be renewing your visa or any of those things, probably is not going to be a major detriment to you, if a detriment at all. It just probably won't. Because what they're looking at is crimes that are so egregious that across the country, they're defined as being a crime. Whereas if this happened, say, next door in California or in any one of these other states that don't have criminal speeding laws, that would not be a crime. This conduct would not be a crime. So I tell people, try not to worry about that too much. The other issue is, well, quite frankly, that this may not even be reportable to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. So the Arizona Department of Public Safety is the entity in Arizona that monitors all criminal convictions, things like DUIs and domestic violence. They keep a record of that for all of your criminal history. In Arizona, a lot of what we have are called justice courts. And so the justice courts, depending on how they run things, and there's many, many of them all throughout Arizona, and in particular up north around the Grand Canyon, they may or may not even be reporting these things as a crime back to the Department of Public Safety. We've had a lot of experience out of these courts. Some of them report them, some of them don't. Some of them really don't know what they're doing. A lot of these justice of the peace judges are not licensed attorneys. Some of them interpret these things as traffic violations. They're not even really considered a crime, and they don't get reported. There's a lot of really kind of funny things going on with the justice courts all throughout Arizona, and in particular northern Arizona. So that's the second kind of main point that I want to tell people. It may not even be considered a crime, number one, in most jurisdictions, and in particular with immigration. And number two, it may not even be reported as a crime. Okay, this may just be reported on your motor vehicle record. In Arizona, it would be reported to your motor vehicle record as a crime, but how your home state interprets that in your motor vehicle record or your Department of Motor Vehicle record, it may not even transfer as a crime at all. It may just transfer over and be reported over in your home state as a speeding ticket. Criminal speeding in Arizona has 3 points, just like a regular speeding ticket. So your home state may not have a criminal speeding component, and they may just treat a speeding ticket, which is really what this is, not as a misdemeanor, but as a speeding ticket. So you have two things to consider. You have to consider, how is the Immigration Service going to deal with it? And how is this actually going to be reported? Is it going to be reported? Is it going to transfer you to your home state? Those are all issues that are important to think about. Now, the number one thing you can do, of course, is not to have a criminal conviction. That's where we come in. Our goal is to say, let's not even worry about the immigration consequences at all, because we're going to help you make sure that you do not have a criminal conviction, period. We're just going to beat the ticket. We're going to get it reduced from a criminal into something else, into a civil, into a non-moving violation, into something that is going to be irrelevant. It's not even going to be considered a crime in Arizona or anywhere else, because we're going to beat that ticket. We're going to get it reduced down. We're going to get you enrolled in a driving school, get you enrolled in a life skills course or a wise choice alternatives program. There's a lot that we can do before we even have to start thinking about the consequences. But I do talk to a lot of people from all over the world who are visiting Arizona, and this is their main question. How can a criminal speeding ticket impact my immigration status? To be quite frank, if you really want the answer to that question, you're going to have to talk to an immigration attorney. But if you want to give us a call and talk to our firm, our goal is to prevent you from even having to have that conversation. So I would encourage you to do that. But it's very common. Try not to stress out about it too much, okay? There's a lot that we can do on these cases. So if you're watching this video, it's probably pretty clear that you've got one of these tickets and you have some questions about immigration. Give our office a call so we can develop a strategy for you, talk you through what we can do in your specific case to give you the best shot and not even having to worry about having any sort of criminal conviction on your record. Thanks for watching.